but I do want to discuss the Washington Wizards offseason outlook. So we are going to get into our offseason outlook series now that teams are starting to be eliminated. As Took mentioned once before, the E dash team name is starting to pop up now, and we got two teams starting off with the Washington Wizards. So this is my question to y'all, gentlemen, and we can expound upon it a little bit. What does the Washington Wizards, what do they do with Jordan Poole? Do you keep him and just leave him on the bench with all this money? Do you try to trade for him? Like, what is in their best interest going forth? How do you construct a team and still either keep or trade away Jordan Poole? What are y'all thinking about that? And I'll pull up their cap numbers as well.
Jordan Poole has proven he's better off the bench, I think, stats wise, everything wise. Him not starting a game doesn't mean he's not going to play still 30 plus minutes a night. So I think it's definitely in their best interest to keep him to come off the bench, even though I know progressively he's going to get paid like $3 million more each season, I believe. They actually got that Kyle Kuzma deal that they have. Honestly, he's declining in terms of how much he gets paid every year. It's actually really good. Because of course there'll be more cap money as they go along. And so to me, sorry, you just want to stick to Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole needs to keep coming off the bench. Unfortunately, I think he has shown how great he can be off the bench. Unless something freak happens next year where he becomes a starter and shines, I think he's written his check to be a bench player. And unfortunately, he's going to get paid $30 million plus a season to be a bench player. But there's some other players that come off the bench as well that were getting paid $30 million. Kyle Lowry was getting paid $30 million to come off the bench. Chris Paul was getting paid $30 million to come off the bench. I'm not putting them in that caliber of players. However, it's a new day and age. You might be paying a starter $2 million a season to start, but again, it doesn't matter if you're not starting. It doesn't matter. It's just how well do you play that game. So I'm cool with Jordan Poole with that. They don't have no choice. Who else is gonna want him? That's the question. So he had no choice but to stay with the Wizards. They ain't moving on that.
I think that their best thing would have to take a page out of I think it was a 2016, 2017 Clippers book when Lou Williams was arguably their best player, right? Like, I'm not saying that, Jordan Poole is the Wizards' best player, but I'm not saying potentially he couldn't get to that point. And I think that if he does get to that point, maybe this season is a humbling experience. At the same time, maybe it's not, because regardless of if he put 10 points a game or 25 points a game, he's still getting the bag regardless. And I think a player like that, when you don't have that maturity, it's not that much you can do with him, especially when you're getting that much. So this is something that they're going to have to ride it out with. And I think in order for them to best maximize their talents and Jordan Poole's talents, he's going to have to continue to come off the bench. And like I said, just build that, 2016, 27 Clippers team. Lou Williams was arguably their best player, averaging 22 off the bench. That's when he won Sixth Man of the Year. I think Sixth Man of the Year at this point, in order to repair his image per se, I think this needs to be an award that Jordan Poole goes after, because it would show some kind of mental aspect to say, okay, you're ready to be an NBA player instead of just some hooper that we got. That shows flashes on some occasions. But in order for me to build a franchise around you, hell no.
So I think that I think somebody would take Jordan Poole. Now, what that looks like is it's going to require Washington to probably take on some bad contracts, some unwanted contracts, whatever that looks like. I don't know the numbers exactly right now, top of my head, with say Dylan Brooks or Fred VanVleet or whatever that is. But Washington is not trying to win, so maybe they will keep Jordan Poole, because Jordan Poole is not a winning player by himself. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you bring in players who got bad contracts, if those players are not wanted, A, they're probably a veteran player, which you need for a young Wizards team. And B, you're not going to win with these players because they're not players that you're going to build around long term going forth. After about 3 or 4 years, which is the length of Jordan Poole's contract, you'll be moving off from those players, and whoever you pick in this year's draft is going to be your main guy. And even next year's draft, you have to get Cooper Flagg or Carlos Boozer's sons or whoever it is you decide to pick next year. I think that Jordan Poole, I think you nailed it on the head, too. He has to be a bench player and just be elite in that role. Lou Williams is making an argument, not me, him, that he's a Hall of Fame player because he's won Sixth Man of the Year several times. Same with like Jamal Crawford. You can find your niche, Jordan Poole, in being a bench player, but also buy into what the coaching staff needs for you to do. I mean, look no further than Ginobili. Ginobili for the Spurs wasn't a starter. He could start occasionally, but he was much better off the bench as a facilitator, as an occasional scorer, as a pesky defender. If you lean into being that sort of player, it can be for Washington. To be honest, if Washington gets a top pick, bring in a top guy into Washington, and you're off the bench and you getting 20 points a game. Well, right now he ain't getting 20 points a game. My bad too. Good thing we ain't bet on that shit, because my Lord, we out of there in trouble. But I think he can get 20 points a game because we see him do it before with Golden State. Now, granted, the spacing was out of control in Golden State to where you can go one-on-one and knock down shots. But I think he has it in him, but I think it was a humbling experience this year. One more question about Washington. What kind of player do y'all want them to draft this year? What player do you think they need for this year?
Best available?
Anybody?
Anybody that could come on in and help. Because they're still going to be the Wizards. So it's like you need to get that stain off you first. It was exactly how many points Jordan Poole got in this game? Hold on, because that's a goddamn shame.
To the Bears. My goodness,
the baby Bears, man.
Yeah,
Jordan Poole got 8. It's crazy.
So best player available. You saying BPA? Okay, what about you, Sheedy?
Yeah, same. That franchise has really been crippled for a while, for a very long, decades even, since Michael Jordan decided he wanted to suit back up. So to me, take whoever you can. Best player available. I agree with too.
Okay. I want to see them get like a wing player is what I would say. I think that, well, it might be a point guard, honestly, because I mean, I think Ty Jones, like, give me the hell up out of there, man. Free me. For real. Give me the hell up out of there. Ty Jones.
We agree. Free Ty Jones.
Free Ty Jones, man. Because, man, my Lord. And he has value. If you trade Ty Jones, you're going to get something for Ty Jones. He's a starting point guard somewhere. So trade Ty Jones. Jordan Poole, if you're not getting traded, go to the bench. And then I say get you a wing player. Two says get you best player available. And I think that's the start of the following year after next year, because they're not going to win no time soon. Then you can see, can I get Cooper Flagg from Duke in 2025?